I just wanted to ask, for clarification, is there someone here with you today who can speak to the medical aspects of this so I can ask some basic questions?
There was supposed to be someone like that here. I'm not sure if that person came.
Anyone?
I saw someone raise a piece of paper. Would you like to speak? Okay, if you can
If you don't
sign that
mind.
white card. I was anticipating that, just in case.
Oh, thank you, thank you. So as you're coming, the reason I'm glad that you're here is because we get a lot of emails, you know, on bills, and with this bill, I wanted to, for the record, have a brief conversation about the description I'm seeing in the what we call the digest of the bill. And if you would, of course, the chairwoman is going to require that you fill out a white card because you're here for information. And so if you could start by stating your name and your background, then I'll ask you some questions.
So my name is Gary Hess. I'm 44 years old. I'm the executive director for the Veterans Alliance for Holistic Alternatives. I was actually the first medical cannabis patient here in Louisiana, and I testified for the legalization in the past.
Okay. Now, in the digest of the bill, it says this: present law authorizes a licensed physician to recommend, in any form as permitted by rules and regulations of Louisiana Board of Pharmacy, raw or crude marijuana, tetrahydrocannabinols, thank you, or a chemical derivative of THC for therapeutic use by any patient clinically diagnosed as suffering from a debilitating medical condition. So here's what the public is going to be listening carefully for and will want to know. If this bill passes, does this mean that an employee will then be able to, an employee who is carrying a card that shows that their physician has actually recommended medical marijuana, will that employee be able to knock off at 5 o'clock, go on the street corner, buy a few joints and smoke them over the weekend? Or all of these forms of marijuana that we're talking about right here, are those not the kind of marijuana you find on the street corner? Can you explain?
I can't explain. So essentially what we're doing with the legalization of cannabis is taking the black market and putting it under safe terms through a regulated, quality controlled process, and dispensing it through prescribing or recommending through a licensed physician, and dispensing through a licensed pharmacist. So the whole point for the legalization is so somebody like myself, who is subject to some pretty significant combat trauma, should not have to go on a street corner and buy products that are unregulated, unsafe. They don't have a certificate of analysis. I do not know what is in them. Because it helps me, that should not be the only option that I have. So cannabis is cannabis. Cannabis grown under specific pharmaceutical grade conditions is the cannabis that we seek, so we can get that same experience time and time again on a consistent basis. That's what the patients here in Louisiana need, and that's what we're asking for. And so we should not have to go to a street corner and buy illicit drugs. We were asking for the leadership here to take veterans just like myself who transition and try to integrate back into a functional society to be able to access a natural plant medicine and not the addictive pharmaceuticals that took a decade of my life.
Yep. And first of all, thank you for your service.
Great.
And secondly, thank you for your testimony, because that's exactly what I was hoping to share in this public forum so that there won't be a misunderstanding. So thanks for being here.
Yes, ma'am.